गिरिवरधारी जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्याभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्याभामा जय जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय जय जय प्रभुपा 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 प्रभुपा
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस विश्वगुरु ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस शैल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्रीमद्-भगवद-गीता की जय श्री श्री कृष्णा रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 9, titled The Most Confidential Knowledge, verse number 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase shubhat. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence." Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. As a devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Lord, he becomes enlightened. This hearing process is recommended in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. The messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are full of potencies, and these potencies can be realized if topics regarding the Supreme Godhead are discussed amongst devotees. This cannot be achieved by the association of mental speculators or academic scholars, for it is realized knowledge. The devotees are constantly engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the signs of Krishna in the association of the devotees. Discussion of Krishna is very potent, and if a fortunate person has such association and tries to assimilate the knowledge, then he will surely make advancement towards spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describes in this 9th chapter matters more confidential than any he has already disclosed. The very beginning of Bhagavad-Gita, the first chapter, is more or less an introduction to the rest of the book. And in the 2nd and 3rd chapters, the spiritual knowledge described is called confidential. Topics discussed in the 7th and 8th chapters are specifically related to devotional service, and because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, they are called more confidential. But the matters which are described in the 9th chapter deal with unalloyed pure devotion. Therefore, this is called the most confidential. One who is situated in the most confidential knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. He therefore has no material pangs, although he is in the material world. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that although one who has a sincere desire to render loving service to the Supreme Lord is situated in the conditional state of material existence, he is to be considered liberated. Similarly, we shall find in the Bhagavad-Gita, 10th chapter, that anyone who is engaged in that way is a liberated person. Now, this first verse has specific significance. Knowledge, idam jnanam, refers to pure devotional service, which consists of 9 different activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. By the practice of these 9 elements of devotional service, one is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. At the time when one's heart is cleared of the material contamination, one can understand the signs of Krishna. Simply to understand that a living entity is not material is not sufficient. That may be the beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between activities of the body and spiritual activities by which one understands that he is not the body. In the 7th chapter, we have already discussed the opulent potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his different energies, the inferior and superior natures, and all this material manifestation. Now in chapters 9 and 10, the glories of the Lord will be delineated. The Sanskrit word anasuyave in this verse is also very significant. Generally, the commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad Gita very inaccurately. Because they are envious of Krishna, their commentaries are useless. The commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. One who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is a fool. So such commentaries should be very carefully avoided. For one who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the pure and transcendental personality, these chapters will be very beneficial. Dasa is the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. Many years back, I had to visit Nainital. Nainital is in Uttarakhand. Some work was there, some service was there, so I had to go there. Interesting place, very clean, very neat, and lot of visitors, lot of people visit Nainital. It's like a hill station, beautiful place. And it's called Nainital because Sati, when she gave up her body because of her father, Daksha, insulting her husband, Lord Shiva, at that time, Lord Shiva became very upset and he was very disturbed. Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai. And so the pastime goes that Vishnu had to prevent Lord Shiva from becoming too much agitated and causing destruction within the material universe. And so Lord Vishnu used the Sudarshana Chakra to cut Sati's body into pieces. So when the Sudarshana Chakra cut Sati's body into different pieces, her different bodily parts different places, and all those became Shakti Pitas. So her eyes fell in this place. And so, because in Hindi, Nayana means eyes. Nayan means eyes. So the eyes fell, and so it became Nainital. And there is a beautiful lake there, and there is a temple also of Devi Kshetra. So when I went there, naturally I visited the temple, had darshan. And when I stepped out of the temple, I noticed there was one more structure next to the temple. And I was curious. I walked up, and there was a small board which said Dashavatara Temple. So wonderful, very nice. So it was on the first floor, if I remember correctly. So I climbed up, went there, and there were all the 10 avatars. There were murtis, vigrahas, in a line like an L shape. So naturally, very nice, devotees of Krishna, we are all very happy to see the forms of the Lord in his various incarnations. So I went, offered obeisances. So first there was Meena Avatara, offered obeisances. Then next Kurma, then Varaha, then Narasimha. Then there was Parashurama, then Lord Rama, then Balram, then there was Krishna, and then there was Kalki. So, of course, common people, they take this as Dashavatara. There are 10 incarnations. So actually the concept of Dashavatara, where did it come from? The concept of Dashavatara came from the famous Dashavatara Stotra. So this Dashavatara Stotra describes the 10 incarnations of Vishnu. And these 10 incarnations of Vishnu, if you see, in that list, of Krishna at all. So when I saw the Krishna's deity there, I offered my obeisances, but it struck me that they were depicting Krishna as one of the 10 incarnations. So Jayadeva Goswami in his Dashavatara Stotra, how he describes the 10 incarnations. Every incarnation he glorifies the activities of that incarnation. And then he says, Keshavadrita Meena Sharira Jay Jagadisha Hare. So the Matsya Avatara, he says, Keshavadrita. Keshava, Krishna, he has taken the avatar of Matsya Avatara. Then Keshavadrita Shukara Rupa. That Keshava, Krishna has taken the incarnation of Varahadev. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. That Keshava, Krishna has taken the incarnation of Narasimha. And then Keshavadrita Bhrigupati Rupa. Keshava, Krishna has taken the form of Parashurama. Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa. Krishna, Keshava has taken the incarnation of Vamanadev. Keshavadrita Rama Sharira. He has incarnated as Lord Ramachandra. Krishna is incarnated as Lord Ramachandra. Keshavadrita Haladhara Rupa. Haladhara, Hala means plow. So the plow is the weapon of Balarama. So Keshava, Krishna has taken the incarnation of Balaram. And then Keshavadrita Kalki Rupa, Kalki Sharira. He is the one who takes the incarnation of Kalki. And Keshavadrita Buddha Sharira. Keshava, Krishna, is incarnated as Buddha. So, everywhere in the Dashavatara Stotra, Jayadeva Goswami is glorifying each avatara as an incarnation of Krishna. So, naturally, Krishna cannot be an incarnation of himself, no. So, Krishna does not appear in that 10 incarnations. So, but common people, they are under the misconception that Krishna is one of the 10 avatars. I remember when this temple was getting readied, we had to order these main doors for the temple hall. And we had decided that we'll put all the Dashavataras on the door. We'll depict the Dashavataras on the door. So when I met the Sthapati, the person who does the carving on the wood, I told him we want to depict the 10 avatars. And he said, yes, I've done a lot of works. And he showed me some pictures also, how he had done Dashavatara for different carvings for different places. So I said, I want only one change. He said, what? I said, you will not put Krishna here, you will put Buddha here. So he was surprised. Buddha? Why you are asking for Buddha? So then I sat with him and explained to him what is Dashavatara, where that concept has come from, Jayadeva Goswami, how he describes. After hearing the whole thing, he said, oh, Prabhuji, I never knew this. First time I'm hearing this. Otherwise, we always thought that Krishna is an avatar, he is an incarnation. So you see, although we are in India, and India is full of Hindus who from their childhood, they are all growing up hearing about Krishna, about Vishnu, about Varaha, Narasimha. These are all very common knowledge that we all grow up with, hearing from our parents, our grandparents, etc. All these incidents of the pastimes of the Lord and his different incarnations. And we have many festivals also to celebrate it. Narasimha Jayanti, Vamana Dwadashi. These are all big festivals all over the country. Ramanavami, Krishna Janmashtami. These are all big festivals. Almost all the avatars, their appearance days are big festival days. So, but still, even Indians, even Hindus who are devout, who are religious, who go to temples, who observe all these festivals, even they don't know that Krishna is not an incarnation. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. He is not an avatara, he is the avatari. The person, the fountainhead of all incarnations. See, that is why Krishna is telling here in this Bhagavad Gita, in this verse, Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave. Krishna is telling Arjuna, I am going to tell you the most confidential knowledge. So already, as Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, Krishna has spoken about the soul in the 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, all those, even in the 6th chapter, Krishna has spoken about the soul, about Atma. The knowledge about the soul is called Guhya. It is confidential knowledge. Because again, although we may be Hindus, we may be Indians, we may have grown up into the culture, we are born and grown up into the culture of Hindu Dharma. But how many of us know that we are not the body, we are spirit soul? How many of us know that after death, we will have to again take another birth? Jatasya dhruva mrityur janma mritasya cha. Moment we are born, our death is certain, and the moment we die, next birth is certain. How many of us know? This is the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Very first lesson, we don't know. Although Bhagavad Gita is our worshipable scripture, we all swear by it, we all respect the Bhagavad Gita, we know Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, we may read Bhagavad Gita also. But this understanding will not come. Why? Because it is confidential knowledge. And more confidential knowledge which is more confidential than that, Prabhupada is telling in the Bhagavad Gita that chapters 7 and 8, where Krishna speaks of his nature, material nature, how the material world which we see around us is his energy, it is his creation. So, because Krishna is speaking of the constitutional position of material energy and the material world that we see around us, it is more confidential. We don't even know that we are not the body, we are spirit, soul. What is this material world? Where is it coming from? What is its source? That is another higher knowledge. So, if we don't know we are not the body, we are a spirit, soul, where is the question of understanding that? And even higher than that, now what Krishna is going to speak in the 9th and 10th chapters, Krishna is going to speak about pure devotional service, unalloyed devotional service, bhakti yoga. And that Krishna says is the most confidential knowledge. So you see, knowledge about Krishna and devotional service to him is most confidential. Even religious Hindus don't understand the position of Krishna. That is why it is most confidential. Simply being born into a religion, believing in a religion, being religious, going to the temple, you may even read Bhagavad-Gita and all these philosophical literatures also, you may read Upanishads, you may read Vedanta Sutra, but you will not be able to understand the position of Krishna. That he is the avatari, he is the source of all incarnations. You will not be able to understand this until and unless you come in touch with a pure devotee of Krishna. This is the whole point. All of us also, until we read Prabhupada's books, where did we have the understanding, appreciation of the position of Krishna? For us, Krishna was like all the other devatas. There is Shiva also, there is Varahadev also, Narasimha also. Like that, Krishna is also there. But no, Krishna is a very special position. He is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate. That Krishna is going to reveal in the 10th chapter. That he is the source of everything. Everything is emanating from him. All the devatas are also coming from him. Even all the Vishnu avatars are also coming from him. Even Vishnu himself is coming from Krishna. This is the most confidential knowledge. That's why Krishna says in the 10th chapter, Aham sarvasya prabhava. I am the source of everything. Krishna does not say, I am the source of everything except Vishnu. I am the source of everything except Narayana. No, he did not say that. He said, I am the source of everything. That means Krishna is the absolute truth. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the ultimate. So, this knowledge, this revelation, which Krishna is going to reveal in the 9th chapter, is therefore the most confidential. And even if you read the entire Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, Vedas, it will be extremely difficult for you to figure out that they are all aiming at Krishna. Krishna again reveals in the Bhagavad-Gita, Veda ischa sarvair ahameva vedya. Out of all the Vedas, Krishna is to be known. The Vedas are speaking of an absolute truth. The Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutras. The Vedanta Sutra begins with that. What the Vedanta Sutra is aiming, it begins with the very first aphorism. Janmadyasya yataha. So it begins with the aphorism that athato brahma jijnasa. Now that you got the human form of life, inquire into Brahman. What is Brahman? And what is that Brahman? Janmadyasya yataha. That from which the creation takes place, the creation is maintained, and finally the creation is annihilated. That which is the cause of all these three is the supreme absolute truth, Brahman. So the Vedanta Sutras and Upanishads are all pointing towards that absolute truth, Brahman. That Brahman who is the source of the entire creation, who is the maintainer of this creation and all the living entities within the creation, and who is the person in whom everything will rest after annihilation. So the Vedanta Sutras are very clearly, the Vedanta Sutra is very clearly pointing out that this is what is aimed at for by the entire Vedas. But who is that Brahman? You study the entire Vedas, Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutras, very tough. Practically next to impossible to get to know. But that knowledge Krishna is revealing in this 7th to 12th chapters of the Bhagavad-Gita. So you can imagine how confidential it is. Even the Vedanta Sutras, Upanishads, they don't reveal. Krishna is revealing. That's why Krishna is saying, Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave. So why that knowledge about Krishna, that most confidential knowledge, is not revealed everywhere? Why, although the Vedanta Sutras, Upanishads, they are talking about that Brahman, but who that Brahman is, why they are not revealing? Because Anasuyave, there is one particular qualification which is needed to know who is that Brahman, to know that Krishna is that Parabrahman. What is that qualification? Anasuyave, one has to be free of envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So somebody may say, I am not envious. How are you saying I am envious? So that envy manifests in different ways. One of the ways that envy manifests is, you have a Dashavatara temple and you put Krishna as one of the avatars there. Why Krishna should be the avatari? He should be an avatara. You are envious of the position of Krishna. Another way is, why Krishna should be the supreme absolute truth? There is an impersonal Brahman. That Brahman is beyond the Krishna. That unborn within Krishna is superior to Krishna. That is another way the envy manifests. So that manifestation of envy takes different forms. Another thing is, why Krishna should be the supreme person? Why not some devata? Why not Shiva is supreme? Why not Ganesha is supreme? Why you people who say only Krishna is supreme? You are being very narrow in your thinking. What can we do? That's the fact, that's the reality. It's not that we have chosen to be like this. No, this is the reality. But people don't want to accept. Why? Because of envy. So, because this envy is pervading most of the conditioned living entities within the material world, the Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutras, the Vedas are very cautious about revealing who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of that Parabrahman. So therefore, Krishna, then why did Krishna reveal it? Because he revealed it to Arjuna, because Arjuna is Anasuyave. Arjuna is not envious, therefore Krishna revealed it to him. So this is the qualification. If we want to understand who is that absolute truth, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is the position of Krishna, first qualification required is we have to be Anasuyave, we have to be free of envy. We should be ready to accept that truth. If we have that character, if we have that qualification of being non-envious, then what will happen? Krishna will send a pure devotee into our life to act as our Diksha Guru. And that Guru will reveal in our heart the true position of Krishna, which is what has happened with most of us. We were not really seeking transcendental knowledge or seeking after spiritual life. Many of us may not have been. But Prabhupada came into our life. Suddenly some devotee came and put a book in our hand and we started reading. We did not go seeking the book came into our hand. How Krishna sent Prabhupada into our life to act as our Diksha Guru, as our spiritual master. So when we started reading Prabhupada's books, things started becoming clearer and clearer. Oh, this is the reality. Then we started chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we start following the principles. So you see, why this has happened? Because some element of non-enviousness was there in our heart. We were ready to accept. When Prabhupada says that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is the source of all the avatars. Yes, we accept it. So therefore, we are given that opportunity. So, Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajnatva Mokshase Ashubhat. Simply by understanding this much, that Krishna is the Supreme Absolute Truth, He is that Parabrahman, He is the source of all the incarnations, what happens? Mokshase Ashubhat. We shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So people all over the world are trying to solve their material miseries. Countries are going to war to solve their problems. America is bombing Iran. Why? Because America wants to solve its problem. Iran is bombing Kuwait. Why? Because Iran wants to solve its problem. And then Pakistan is sending terrorists into India because Pakistan has got a problem. India is bombing Pakistan because India has got a problem. All over the world, Russia is attacking Ukraine because Russia wants to solve its problem. Ukraine is fighting back because Ukraine wants to solve its problem. Everybody is at individual level, at the societal level, national level, international level. Everybody is fighting at different levels. Mentally, physically, economically, militarily. In every way, people are fighting. Why? To solve their miseries. But nobody is able to solve the problem. Even at the international level, Donald Trump started the war saying in 2 weeks we'll finish it. Still going on. Now the war is not in his hand. He thought, I know how to do it. But now he is realizing it's not in my hand. So even the most powerful president of the most economically advanced nation in the world, even he is not able to control. He is not able to prevent the miseries. So you see, with economic power, military power, intellectual power, with all these powers, with all these strengths, it is not possible to solve the miseries of life. Then how do you solve the miseries of life? Simply by understanding Krishna's position and our relationship with him, and acting in that relationship, we can solve all the problems in life. This is the real permanent solution for all the problems that we face. Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyama anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase ashubhat. Simply, even if you know this much, Krishna is the avatari, Krishna is the source of Parabrahman, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna is the ultimate absolute truth. Even if you simply know this much, you will see miseries in your life will start reducing. So, we should take advantage of this knowledge which is given to us by Prabhupada, and a blissful life awaits all of us if we take up the process of Krishna consciousness, if we take up the process of Bhakti Yoga to Krishna. So we'll stop here. Srimad-Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.